And we're live. It's 10 minutes past 10 a.m. here in Sweden. I woke up about 2 hours ago. And yes, welcome to the best hangover cure in the world. It's Please Don't Livestream episode 6. It's the news edition.
Yeah. And boy, do we have things to talk about today.
Oh, yes. There's going to be a lot of gossipy stuff today, I feel. Not so much, I mean, it's movie related, but it's, I don't know, it feels kind of gossipy, like, oh, did you hear what he said? Did you hear what she said? It's a lot of that today. I don't know. But we got some juicy scoops for you, and a surprise news I just recently found out about. I haven't even told Danielle about it yet, so
so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So first off, I know the title of the stream suggests that we're going to talk about Jordan Vogt Roberts, and we are. But first, we have to address the article written by Joss Whedon's ex-wife recently, which is, I've never been a big fan of Joss Whedon. So when I heard, I really don't like him, actually. So when I heard this, I guess I gloated a little bit. But Joss Whedon's ex-wife, Kai Cole, writes, and this is the headline, Joss Whedon is a hypocrite preaching feminist ideals. So, you've read the article, right?
Yes, I did.
Do you wanna summarize it a little bit? I mean,
yes, I can. Which basically she says that Joss Whedon has painted himself as a spokesperson for feminist ideals.
Yeah.
And she is not agreeing with that. He was unfaithful towards many times.
Yeah, for like years with several different people.
And said things that are not really something a feminist should say.
Yeah, there were some.
And this caused a problem because Joss Whedon has made Buffy the Vampire Slayer it's been seen as like a feminist show. Anita Sarkeesian did, I think, an episode where she talks about it. Then I tried to see it. I tried to and find out what made it feminist ideals, and I couldn't find it.
No.
Maybe because I just find the show very cliche-ridden and very boring.
Yeah, I was never a fan, even when I was younger. I mean, it was kind of fun sometimes. They have that musical episode that's pretty good, but
I like that musical, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a good one. But I mean, sure, you have like not really even a strong female protagonist. I mean, you have a female protagonist, and that's about it. But yeah, like you said, he has really painted himself as this like feminist advocate almost, especially with shows like Buffy and with Firefly. And I'm pretty sure he was involved in Dollhouse. He always centered his shows around, you know, strong female characters. So it feels kind of disingenuous when you read about some of the stuff he did. And are we going to assume that she's not making this up? I'm pretty sure
it would be a horrible thing to assume. She would practically character assassinate his career. Now the thing is that Joss Whedon kind of has a career.
Sure.
Because remember that he's a director of a huge franchise, but he is a director of a huge franchise. The franchise is bigger than him. If Joss Whedon would be like an auteur director, like Stanley Kubrick, Martin Scorsese, that would probably character assassinate him harder. Remember, a franchise director can easily be replaced. So I think this won't hurt Joss Whedon's career as hard as people would think, but I think it will be an itch in his back for a few years.
Yeah, and I get the feeling. The feeling is that, you know, people might look at him a bit different. I mean, if this, I don't know how mainstream this has gone so far. I know there was some fan sites that were like kind of pulling back their support for him after this. And I just got to read this a quote from him. Well, it's his ex-wife writing it, Kai Cole. Here, 15 years later, when he was done with our marriage, this was after, and in the article, she knew about his infidelities, and they had, like, you know, they had acknowledged it. Both of them had. So they were like living with this for 15 or like 10 years. So she writes here, it's a weird quote from him. 15 years later, when he was done with our marriage and finally ready to tell the truth, he wrote me, and this is the quote, when I was running Buffy, I was surrounded by beautiful, needy, aggressive young women. It felt like I had a disease, like something from a Greek myth. Suddenly I am a powerful producer and the world is laid out at my feet and I can't touch it. But he did touch it.
That is such a behavior of
that's fucking
people
maniacal.
that can't take a responsibility. No, you're not. There is no disease where you're forced to fuck somebody else. That is total bullshit.
If you're single, sure, but I mean, if you're in a dedicated relationship in a marriage, shouldn't it, like, you kind of have to like push those things back? Even I haven't.
Everyone gets tempted, obviously.
Yeah, of course, but you gotta, you gotta take some
ridiculous explanation. Yeah, it was like,
it's like a Greek myth.
Oh, fucking pretentious dork.
And the worst thing is, the first thing I thought when I read this, just to make it worse, when he said I couldn't touch that, all I thought was, well, you just reach out and grab him by the pussy. That's basically what he did. It's the antithesis of feminism. To like think of Trump when you think of feminists. I just that was the first thought I had. I thought that quote was so good. But yeah, it's weird. It definitely paints him in another light than you're used to. Because like we said, he's always been this like feminist advocate and female rights.
Yeah, and many feminists see his shows as important feminist shows, and unfortunately, I haven't done it. I never understood it, so people will probably shit on me. They can do it. It's all right.
I mean, I don't know. Now when you have this knowledge, it just feels like a bunch
a show
of
like
Westworld.
A show like Westworld has even better feminist ideals than Buffy.
Yeah, in a way, without like preaching it out. It's just good female characters. It doesn't have to be like a mission.
And I don't want my culture to be overtly political.
No.
I want politics. It can exist in movies, but it's so in your face.
Yes, especially nowadays. It really takes center stage almost in some cases. And it's just because I mean, we've always used like movies and TV shows to like, make political statements and, say something about the world. But at its core, movies and TV is entertainment. So I always feel that there needs to be an element of just pure entertainment in what you do. So, and I've never really, well, of course his stuff is entertaining, but I don't know. I've never been a fan of his stuff. So this just, I don't know. I kind of gloated in this. I know I shouldn't, but I did. I gloated very much when I read this. I was like the whole time. It was so good to shatter that facade of his. I don't know why.
You've never been a fan of his stuff, neither.
No, not even when I was a kid.
Avengers is an okay movie. I had fun watching it, but it wouldn't be a movie I would buy. The only franchise I like from the Marvel movies is Winter Soldier and the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Captain America has always been my favorite movies of those in that franchise, the Captain America movies. Yeah, and I mean, the second Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, is probably one of the worst Marvel movies. So I don't know.
It was so long.
Oh yeah. One of its many problems. It was very long, but yeah. So I just felt we needed to mention this because it's weird to hear stuff like this coming from him. It doesn't, like I said, it really paints him in another light. But talking about meltdowns, let's talk about Jordan Vogt Roberts and his 24-hour Twitter rant.
It's Twitter rant. It's such a mixture.
Yeah.
Of low-class vocabulary and some things that are well articulated disses.
Yeah. And for everyone who may not have heard about it, there is this channel on YouTube called Cinema Sins, where two guys they dissect the movie and point out the flaws and the like the weird stuff and plot holes. And for some of it, they make legitimate points about the movie, but most of it is just cheap jabs and jokes, and that's what it's supposed to be. They're supposed to make fun of the movie. It's supposed to be like parody or satire. But sometimes they get really like mean almost towards the movie. Some movies that you think they really couldn't pick apart, they really like wreck. And like what is now like 2 weeks ago or like a week ago, they did a video called "Everything Wrong with Kong Skull Island," and I watched it and I thought they first of all, I really liked that movie. I kind of saw it for what it wanted to be, not just a simple action movie, but more of like a subversive movie about tropes and cliches in action movies. I talk a little bit about that in my review, but I mean, for the general audience member, it is just a stupid action movie about a monkey, and I think that's the viewpoint they had when they made that trailer. But that feels a bit, it's kind of dishonest, because the director, Jordan Vogt-Roberts, he has been very vocal about what he wanted this movie to be. He has a pretty big social media presence. So he's done a lot of interviews with YouTube channels and stuff, as well as mainstream media, talking about that the movie isn't just an action movie, and that he wanted people to see, what he was trying to do. And so if you've been keeping up with that, that some of the stuff in the movie that may seem like stupid or feeling like the typical tropes is there for a reason. However, the CinemaSins channel, they completely disavow that and just rip the movie to shreds, which they do. It's their thing. And usually, the directors and writers, they take it, with a pinch of salt. However, Jordan Vogt-Roberts, he took to Twitter and started ranting about how much, he felt like they were, I think he used the word bully even at some times, that they were like bullying the movie. And he tweeted almost nonstop about it for 24 hours. I remember going to work that day and reading on the bus his Twitter rant. And it's like, oh, he's been going on for 2 hours. That's insane. Then getting off work and still reading his rant, going home, and then finding out that, when I woke up the morning after, he'd been going on for almost 24 hours. And I don't know, what is your take on it? Yeah, you said there in the beginning what you thought, but I don't know.
Well, I think the first rule of making movies, get ready to face criticism.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I think that the first rule of being a critic is don't be a flippin' asshole. And I think CinemaSins can be a bit sour when they criticize.
Yeah, they can definitely be a bit douchey at points.
But he really took the criticism wrong, and he got furious compared to Trump, for example.
Yeah, that was some Trump-like ranting.
Yeah, and he should remember that criticism is a two-edged sword. You can give criticism, but you have to learn to face criticism. But if you're the one that puts criticism, you have to be ready that you can get criticized back. But Jordan Vogt-Roberts really went Colonel Kurtz on himself.
Yeah, and
he was like, "I'm gonna show them how much." Because did you see that Ryan Johnston as well has been?
Yeah,
I gotta look up the quote here. I got it here because it's kind of funny.
It's when they did Everything Wrong with Looper. Yeah,
I should be good-humored about this, but it feels oddly nasty. It's almost all thoughtless and wrong. Okay, I'll shush.
Yeah, that was a very measured response, and I guess Jordan, he didn't really have that amount of self-control, so he just started like shooting out like diarrhea from his Twitter, And
But did you see what Gary Whitta wrote? He's the writer of Book of Eli, After Earth, and Roach One, a Star Wars story. Oh, that is a fucked up resume.
yeah. No, what did he write?
And he said, that series has always been cynical. Look at how smart I think I am, garbage, and a total waste of human time and energy. And then Jordan Vogt Roberts says, I don't want to be a cynical fuck myself, but it reeks of failed filmmaker taking his issues out on other people's work.
Ooh, that's salty.
I gotta agree a bit with Jordan Vogt Roberts. That was a good, well-funded, well-written.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I do agree with him. I mean, I've had a lot of fun with some of their episodes, but when they start, like, pointing out these minuscule details in some, especially like in Looper, because I consider Looper a very good movie, like almost a great movie, and a very well-made movie, and they like point out like 110 different things that sucked about that movie, and it really feels very nitpicky, and I'm not a nitpicker when it comes to movies. So, yeah, sure, you can make fun of a movie, but at some time, you gotta stop. It's not funny anymore. But I do feel that as a public person that Jordan Vogt Roberts is, I feel he should have acted a bit more mature about it. I mean, sure, he could have written some dissent, that I didn't enjoy this and I thought they were being disingenuous. But to go on a 24-hour rant, that is otherworldly. And
have you heard what he's gonna probably direct if it's gonna be real?
Oh yeah.
The Metal Gear movie.
Oh yeah, and
he could work as a. But I don't think Hideo Kojima will allow him to make 24-hour Twitter rants.
No, I
Kojima
know that
is very. Have you been on his Twitter?
Oh yeah,
he's so strange because he puts up stuff, but it's cryptic. One picture is like, here I'm going to the embassy of Sweden.
Yeah,
and this was after the whole Joachim Moberg, Phantom Pain, Moby Dick Studios thing.
Yeah. He's very cryptic.
No, he always gives these little puzzles. And one of my favorite tweets that Hideo Kojima made, he's wearing a New Order rainbow shirt. It's like, wearing my New Order rainbow shirt. No, I am not gay. And people just went fucking crazy on him. How could you?
What?
Hideo Kojima is not insensitive.
No,
he's just accidentally clumsy, I think.
He just stated facts, I suppose.
And he's flipping Japanese. English is not his first language. Give the guy some fucking slack.
Yeah, you definitely notice that sometimes, that it's like been translated from, directly translated from Japanese.
It's very noticeable that Hideo Kojima has English-speaking people that helps him with the game, especially with the dialogue. Yeah. So it doesn't become like Castlevania Symphony of the Night. What do you hear?
Oh my god! But yeah, speaking of Metal Gear, I think he could do a good job. I'm not sure. I mean, he's only made Jordan Vogt Roberts. He's only made like two major movies. He's made.
I'm looking through his Twitter.
Who?
And
Kojima?
Jordan Vogt Roberts, and he says he's linked a video of Alex Jones, this newscaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ha ha ha, he has the funniest shaped body. And he links a video. Alex Jones is losing his mind. Oh, man.
Oh, it's the one where he rips his shirt off. Yeah, he goes nuts. Have you seen that clip?
Yeah, of course I have.
Oh,
watching Alex Jones clip is my guilty pleasure when I'm bored as hell.
Yeah, you just gotta type in Alex Jones funny compilation and you'll get hours of comedy.
Have you seen the one where they made it like a Bon Iver song?
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Fantastic.
It's so
good. Jordan Vogt Roberts' career won't get destroyed.
No,
it's not like Jordan Vogt Roberts went some rant like Frank Darabont.
Yeah,
a rant like that could kill your career.
Yeah,
he never threatened nobody really.
No,
he just said that they were failures.
Yeah, and I know there was a lot of people
he just went.
you're thinking about the emails?
Yeah, he went
Yeah,
full retard.
yeah, and that's harsh. But I mean, we never followed that up. I never found out, when those mails were written. So
Because they're still in court, aren't they?
I think so. It's been I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's been
Because he's
years. But
suing AMC for like $200 million or $20 million for losses.
yeah, well, yeah, he should. He was supposed to be showrunner for the entire show, so he would have made.
Why couldn't he make The Dark Tower?
Oh, that would have been good.
I
He does some good Stephen King adaptations.
haven't seen Dark Tower, and I'm afraid to see it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna see it. There's just something. I mean, I've read 2 of the books, and they're good, but I don't know. They're not my thing really, and I don't think the movie. I don't know. There's something about it just feels wrong.
You know that HBO had plans around 2003, 2004 to make The Dark Tower?
That would make more sense
But now they made a movie instead. Yeah, we're gonna squeeze in 6 books. Well, that's like the total opposite of Peter Jackson. We're gonna take the shortest book and make 3 flippin' movies.
Yeah,
that are circa 3 hours long. What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember when he said it was going to be 1 movie, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I'll watch that, because The Hobbit is like my favorite book of those
and then
Rings books.
3 movies.
Yeah, but then it was like, oh, we're gonna make it into 2 movies. And I was like, okay, fine, I suppose. We're gonna make it into 3 movies. And it's like, I'm checking out. Out. I haven't even seen the last one. Yeah, I hated the second one. It was terrible.
Yeah, it's one of the worst movies I've seen.
Oh yeah.
I would go that far and say it was not a fun experience.
No. It was. It's the only time I've actually like left the theater to go to the bathroom and not like care about missing any of the movie. I just screw this, and I went to the bathroom. I usually like, no, I gotta watch the movie. I'm gonna fucking hold it. But there, I just I don't care. I'm going. But yeah, back to Vogt Roberts. So yeah, this wasn't like, oh, his downfall, he'll never make a movie again. This wasn't a Josh Trank meltdown on the set of Fantastic Four. This was just, him acting, I guess, acting a bit childish, I suppose. But at the same time, you have to acknowledge that some of what he said made a lot of sense. Yeah. And I know a lot of people in YouTube comments on different videos talking about this were like, oh, they weren't. The comments wasn't that nuanced. It was either he fucking sucks, I hope he never makes a movie again. Oh, he can't take a joke, he's such a little bitch. Or it was like complete love for him. Like no, he was totally right. CinemaSins sucks and all that. And I would land somewhere in the middle.
I like CinemaSins, but I think sometimes they get over analytical to find faults.
Yeah. And
it's like, we want to shit on your favorite movie. They would find faults with 2001, then I will poop on them as well.
Exactly. They look for faults. I mean, you shouldn't
can look on faults of everything. Shit, man. Take an example. John Lennon, one of the greatest artists that ever existed.
Yeah.
Fucking worthless human being. Fucking punched his wives.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because if we're gonna use that theory that, oh my god, this guy does this to his wife, or he was a murderer, man. If I could not listen to music made by convicted felons, I couldn't listen to any Phil Spector produced recordings, and I just couldn't. I couldn't fall down for that.
Yeah, I mean, on the way home here this morning, I listened to Ted Nugent, and I was like, I really enjoy his music, but the guy is a fucking asshole. Yeah. But I can't like deny the fact that his music, at least I think, is it's great. So you got to do that. You got to separate the art from the artist. Sometimes it's kind of hard, but for the most part, it is possible to do that, I would say. So yeah, I don't think this is the end of his career. It was a bit childish, but I do understand why he did it. I think he could do a good Metal Gear movie. I mean, he is after Kong, which Hideo Kojima was a big fan of. He really loved the new Kong movie. I did too. I really liked it. They've kind of become like buddies. That's a thing Hideo Kojima does. He like uses his celebrity status to become friends with some of his idols. He's done the same with Mads Mikkelsen. I don't know if you saw the pictures from earlier this year when Mads Mikkelsen visited Tokyo. That was like the greatest romance or bromance.
Because he's in Death Stranding, isn't he?
Yeah, and they've become like friends after that. Yeah, and the pictures were so great.
Yeah.
I mean, it really like told this bromance story. It was awesome. And I think he's kind of done the same with Jordan Vogt Roberts. They've been meeting up, talking about the games, and they've been doing interviews, and he's been to Kojima production studios and stuff. So I think with like the tutelage of Kojima, he could make a good Metal Gear movie.
Oh yeah.
One thing is that he likes to keep the pacing like frantic in his movies. I don't know. You've seen Kong, have you?
Yeah, I did. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, but did you see his first movie he made, Kings of Summer, came out a few years ago? That's like a simple little indie kids movie about some teenagers building a house out in the woods where they can like spend the summer. It feels like this a quirky little indie comedy, but he shoots it like an epic action movie sometimes. So the pacing is off. I will say that about his movies. The pacing is off, and for something like Metal Gear, he would have to use a slower pace for like good portions of the movie. So that could be a problem. But overall, I have faith in him making a Metal Gear movie. Definitely. And the fact that he speaks his mind, even though it might hurt him in the public light, I admire that about him. So yeah. I really enjoyed this whole thing, and I think he's going to walk away from it. I hope. What was the next thing? We had something else. Oh yeah. Next topic. Even more gossip. James Cameron and his Wonder Woman quotes.
I gotta look up the full quote.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up too. Because he was doing some interviews about the re-releasing Terminator 2 in 3D, which it feels very cash grabby, I must say. It's like
if you look up Swedish newspapers, they have gotten a bit wrong. Directors in fight about Wonder Woman. James Cameron totally shreds Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm watching it here. James Cameron, Wonder Woman is a step back. Game Reactor writes. This is a Swedish video game paper. Why does Game Reactor write about movies anyway? So.
But I think that Patty Jenkins gave him a very good answer back in a way.
Yeah, definitely. I thought she, unlike Jordan Vogt Roberts, she gave a very measured response once again.
And James Cameron is not a guy resorting to fight on Twitter.
No. I mean,
he'll try to fucking drown you in a pool.
Yeah.
Or give you pneumonia and kill a fucking rat with water, but that's other things. James Cameron, don't get him near water. The guy could probably drown you with a glass of Ramlösa. He's flipping insane. Have you seen the behind-the-scenes movie about the abyss?
No, I haven't, but I've read a lot about it.
They had T-shirts that said "abuse." Abuse.
Yeah, and like
no, he was crazy perfection. He's like a Stanley Kubrick with possibility to kill you.
Yeah, I know that about when they were shooting Titanic. It would take him like he would spend like weeks on a single shot just getting it right. Going like crazy about it, like screaming at people and firing people. It was weird.
Kate Winslet had pneumonia for a month, I think.
Yeah, what makes sense.
Everyone got food poisoned as well. So they had to halt production for a few months. But I think this whole discussion of James Cameron Wonder Woman, I understand what James Cameron is saying. He's saying, okay, Hollywood is taking this idea of a woman, but still objectifies. They're not making her a strong woman. It's still an object. And there I can agree that in order to make a movie commercially interesting, it has to have some sex appeal. from a commercial's perspective, it has to have it.
Yeah.
And Patty Jenkins did a really good job with Wonder Woman. I consider it to be the third best summer movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It rejuvenated my interest in comic book movies because I had really given up.
But I think that if there comes a second Wonder Woman movie, then Patty Jenkins has to erase everything that Justice League will basically destroy.
Oh yeah. It's so terrible. The first time you see her is in Batman vs Superman, and it's like oh wow. Yeah, she was probably one of the more interesting parts about that end fight, because she's barely in the movie before that. And it's like, okay, yeah, so they did a Wonder Woman thing, that's funny. And then comes this like origin movie, and it's so good. It's like a real like classic action adventure movie. It was like a lot of fun. It was well written, well acted, and I never thought they like objectified her. I mean, yeah, she's beautiful. Gal Gadot is beautiful, but that's in line with the Amazon like legend. They're all these strong, beautiful women. So it makes sense. I mean, she was perfect for the part. I've been a fan of her from the Fast and the Furious series. Yes. I really, really love those movies for some reason. So I knew about her before, and I was like, yes, Gal Gadot is going to play Wonder Woman. When I heard that first time, I was really happy.
She's a good choice.
Yeah.
I think that James Cameron may be a little bit butthurt because he hasn't made a good, strong woman for ages.
No. Well, he hasn't made a movie for ages. So.
Yeah, because Sarah Connor was the last one, because Nate Thierry from Avatar ain't the strong female character.
No, and she's not the main protagonist either, which usually his
Jake Sully. Jake Sully.
Yeah, Jake Sully.
Jake Sully.
Yeah, that movie. I really loved it the first time I watched it because
I'm afraid to see it the second time because I'm gonna hate on it.
I've seen it 3 times, and each time it just gets successively worse. So yeah, when you see beyond this beautiful surface, it's a really cliche and kind of crappy movie, actually. Very very beautiful, but that's about it. It's pretty pictures with a lame story, which equals pretty lame. So.
But James Cameron, he really tries to say to Patty Jenkins, Sarah Connor, she wasn't the most beautiful woman. She was fucking kick-ass. And then Ripley, she had a fucking perm.
Yeah.
Okay? She had like kind of a tooth bro, but she still kicks ass. So
yeah, exactly.
Cameron is a bit angry that, oh, look, a sexy and strong independent woman, he finds it problematic, and I do it in a way as well, but it's mostly because the movie company focused so much on sex appeal. But you can't make Wonder Woman with a long fucking dress.
No, exactly.
Look at the original suit. And it's a pretty good suit.
Yeah, and it looks almost...
I'm glad that the movie never resorted to fan service, like panty shots or shit like that. I would totally have hated the movie then.
That's the thing. The movie was very respectful when it came to showing the female body, and I say this in my review as well, that it focuses much more on like the human physique more than like the human body. They show feats of strength. They slow down certain shots to show show feats of strength and show acrobatic moves. It's never like, oh, look how sexy Wonder Woman is. It's more like, look how strong Wonder Woman is. But I think without Joss Whedon would have made like a feminist thing about it, but here it's just showing that Wonder Woman is a strong person. Yeah. It doesn't really focus on the fact that she's a strong woman. It's just that she's a strong human being.
Joss Whedon would have probably put in, "We together are strong women."
Yeah,
and they can't take that away from us.
Exactly, and all the male character would be idiots. Yeah. And I think this was
male characters couldn't do nothing without us.
Exactly, and I thought that Wonder Woman really tried to, make that an equal thing. That she helps them to accomplish these goals, but they help her to find herself in this new strange world, which she's very new to. So I really enjoyed it for that. It was a female empowerment without being in your face about it. I really enjoyed that.
So how many Avatar movies is James Cameron coming up with?
I think they're gonna be like. They're going to do...
Too many.
Yeah, like 2,
That
3,
the
4,
answer is
5.
too many.
Yeah, and I mean it's going to be a 10 if they make these movies. There's going to be a 10-year gap between Avatar 1 and 2, and I'm like, yeah, nobody cares about Avatar anymore. You should have made this movie like
No.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
It's weird. And yeah, I think this is James Cameron trying to stay a little bit relevant. Because the last thing we heard about him was when he was praising Terminator Genesis because he produced it. He was like, yeah. There was this quote from an interview where he said, oh, the lights dim in the theater, and then the screen lights up, and I start to see things I remember. It's the Terminator, and I think it's going to be great. And I was like, talk about selling out. Terminator Genesis
Yeah.
was a terrible movie. He should have removed
Oh
the name
yeah.
from that.
And if we're gonna talk about objectifying Sarah Connor,
Oh,
Emilia Clarke's Sarah Connor is so fucking objectified.
yeah, and she's just overall a terrible.
And they tried to make Jai Courtney happen. That's my favorite thing from not Cinema Set. What's the name of Honest Trailer, guys?
Yeah,
Stop
Honest Trailer.
Jai Courtney happen.
It's sad. I do kind of like him. I think he's done some good parts in smaller movies, but in Hollywood, yeah, he's always typecast as this bland action hero. It's terrible. But I kind of hope it's the same thing. They did the same thing with Sam Worthington after Terminator Salvation. They really tried to make him the new action thing in Hollywood, and I enjoyed him from movies like Territory and Killing Fields. But because he got to act a little bit, but in the Hollywood movies, he has kind of been relegated to this bland action stereotype guy, and it's sad because I think if you try, you will find some good performances from both Jai Courtney and Sam Worthington. But overall, yeah, stop trying to make him a thing in Hollywood. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I don't know if I said that before. Also, why I think that James Cameron said this is because they're re-releasing Terminator 2. He really wants people to go see that and like, yeah, I made the original female empowerment movie. And I don't know, Terminator 2 is good, but I wouldn't call it.
Are they gonna re-release it in 3D?
Oh yeah, it's in 3D. Yeah, I don't know. When they do that,
it's one of my favorite action movies. I'm not gonna see it in 3D because
I don't know. I might go.
I'm not a fan of 3D.
I want to go see it in the theaters though, and hopefully they'll do like a 2D screening as well. But
then I go that definitely I want to go and see.
Yeah, but if I have to, I will go and see it in 3D. Hopefully I won't though. But because I remember before Terminator Genesis, they did re-release the original Terminator here in Sweden, and I went and saw it. And yeah, quick side note here. When I was in elementary school, it was like the last year of elementary school. We were supposed to write like an essay about what we think our lives is going to be about, and blah 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 blah. And one of the questions was like, if you could go back in time, so where would you go and what would you do? And I remember I said I want to go back to 1984, go to California, and attend the premiere of Terminator, because that was my favorite movie back when I was like 13, 14. It's still one of my favorite movies. And I remember then back in 2015 when Genesis came out, I tweeted about this, that wow, I got to go back in time and relive this moment. So just a quick side note, because Terminator is one of my favorite movies. I enjoyed Terminator more than Terminator 2 actually. But yeah, I wouldn't call either Terminator 1 or 2 a female empowerment movie. I wouldn't do that. They're good. They have good female characters in them, but no. I think he's trying to sell his movie by shitting on Wonder Woman for some reason. It's a weird tactic, but I think that's what he's doing.
Well, we'll see how many go and see Terminator 2, re-released version.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if millennials know about Terminator even. All they know about Terminator is Salvation, like the Sarah Connor Chronicles, the TV show, and Genesis. And that's not the good Terminators. So I don't know if people are going to watch this.
Do you have to be a Game of Thrones actor to play Sarah Connor? Wasn't Lena Headey Sarah Connor in Sarah Connor Chronicles?
Yeah, she was.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. I don't think it has a.
Get ready for the next Terminator movie, where Sarah Connor will be played by Maisie Williams, who plays Arya Stark in Game of Thrones.
Well, she could probably do it, Sarah Connor.
Yeah, because she is kick-ass for real.
Yeah, exactly.
She's one of the better characters in Game of Thrones, which is ending. They have season finale tomorrow, an 80-minute episode.
Is that the ending of the show, or are they going to do an 8th season?
Of the season? It will be ending of a show. It would be a bigger thing. But do you know what the episode is called?
No.
The Wolf and the Dragon. Yeah.
I haven't been watching Game of Thrones since the second season, so I don't know.
I'm probably gonna go up or get up earlier tomorrow around 4:30 to watch the episode and then go to my job.
Yeah, I wish I could get into Game of Thrones because a lot of people are like, they're so up in arms about it, and I wish I could feel the same thing, but I don't. I've never been a big fan. Not even of the books. I read the first 2 books and I was like, they're good, but it's not my thing. I wish though. I might check it out in the future.
So are we gonna? Do you want to take the surprise, or are we gonna talk about the main story today, which has hyped me up the whole week?
Yeah, we can do my surprise first. Because
right.
it's not as big, so we'll save the biggest one for the end.
All right.
But I on the waiting for the train, I read an article from a site called Film School Rejects, which is it's a pretty good movie blog. It's a bit derivative at times, but sometimes you get some good nuggets of info. And they also have a wonderful Twitter account, which is called One Perfect Shot, which are just stills from different movies that shows us that movies are basically art. So you should check that out on Twitter. It's just at One Perfect Shot. Great Twitter account.
I'm hanging at their homepage right now.
Yeah, and see if you can find that that thing they wrote about a new streaming service. That it's not new. It's been in like beta version, I suppose you would call it, for like 2 years. But now it's actually like starting up for real. It's a streaming service called Shudder, which is exclusively for horror movies. It's like a Netflix, but only horror movies. And it sounds really great because it's not being run by like an algorithm. It's not like Netflix where everything is just an algorithm. They actually have like a human touch. They have like editors that choose like the movie of the month, and they do these like playlists of certain genres, and it's all done by people, and it's all people recommending movies to you. So it's not these thumbs up, thumbs down. Here are our shows. Watch those first. This is actually like it's catering to horror fans, and they have like exclusive. And they talk about it in the article there. They have like an exclusive showing of this unrated horror movie from the 70s, which hasn't been shown since like 1971 in its uncut form, and a bunch of stuff like that. And I was really glad to hear that, because Netflix has, at least here in Europe, they have some good horror movies, but mostly it's trash. Their horror section is trash. HBO Go or HBO Nordic, it's the same thing. They don't have a lot of horror movies. They have a few good ones. And like you have a Swedish one called Viaplay, same thing there. Like horror movies always, they get like pushed aside when it comes to streaming services, because the really good horror movies are usually not in the mainstream, so people don't really care about those. But this is, it's made for horror fans. So far, they have 700 titles, and a lot of those are like classics or old weird horror movies that cult classics and stuff like that. And I was really interested to hear about that, to hear such a niche streaming service.
That's probably what we need. Well, I was actually hoping in the future for a huge, broad service, but I think the niched ones are better. And I would, for example, paid for like a niched service. I think Draken Film is the one coming closest, but they still have such a limited supply.
Yeah.
Like something that would, like Cinemateket, it would offer me, we're gonna show you these cult classics. We're gonna have themes. I think that would be the best service.
Yeah,
I would happily pay $10 to $15 for it.
Yeah, exactly. Focusing on something and like making, showing like quality movies and making this like a quality streaming site instead of just spreading yourself so thin trying to cover every base. That's what Netflix is. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Netflix, but this is
sometimes I get oversatisfied.
Oh yeah. And
I just
so
see more shit than gems there.
Exactly. You can find the gems, but there's like 70% trash on Netflix. And this seems to be much more focused on trying to put out quality instead of quantity. And I really appreciate
if
that.
Criterion Collection made a flipping streaming service, I would gladly. God.
Yeah.
But they showed some of their things through Hulu, actually.
Oh, yeah. I think they're on, what's it called? There's this like small, like independent streaming. I don't remember what it's called, Voodoo or something.
Mm-hmm.
Movo, it's called Movo.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you can like rent movies, and they have like a bunch of weird like foreign movies and old movies. They even have silent movies, and I think it's that kind of like niche streaming services that we need, because streaming services are becoming the new TV channels. We don't watch TV anymore. We just have different streaming services. So we should have one for like, a news streaming service, a sports streaming service, a horror movie streaming service, and an action movie streaming service. It should be that. And I think that is the future. If the streaming service is gonna take over, that's what it has to be. They have to be niche. So unfortunately, it's not available in Sweden yet. But I'm hoping it's gonna come out. And this is me like promoting them. I'm not.
Yeah, but it sounds cool. I actually like the idea.
It's not an official promotion, but I mean, if you want to call me Shudder, I'll promote the shit out of you. I'm just saying. But yeah, so I'm hoping they'll release this in Sweden soon, because I really want to check it out. And because another thing, they actually do a 24-hour live stream where like 80 movies just go round and round for 24 hours, 7 days a week. That you can watch for free. So it's and that almost harkens back to like when you would turn on your TV in the middle of the night and you would catch the last half of Evil Dead or whatever. It's kind of that kind of feeling. So you just turn on that streaming, that live stream, and maybe you catch an entire movie, or you see the end of a movie, but there's 80 movies just rolling on and on and on. So that's kind of interesting too. It sounds fun. It sounds fresh. It sounds exciting. So I just wanted to take that up and spread the word. Shudder. If you live in, it's out in America. It's out in England. It's out in Canada. I think it's just Europe that doesn't have it. So if you're watching this and you live in the Americas or the Canadas, check out Shudder, because it sounds like a lot of fun. So that was my little surprise I had.
That was a cool surprise, I may say.
Yeah. So let's hope it comes to Sweden. So what was the main thing? Yes.
For me, the main thing is that they're gonna make a Joker origin story, and Martin Scorsese is gonna produce it. Todd Phillips is gonna direct it, but after seeing War Dogs, I think he could do a good job, as long as Scorsese is a good producer.
Yeah.
And I got super excited, and then I thought, wait a minute. This could be the worst idea ever or a genius idea. There is no middle ground for this.
Yeah. Either Scorsese and Phillips.
This could be the movie that pushes DC Studios. They put their game higher up.
Yeah, exactly.
So it forces Marvel to make a bit more adult-oriented movies.
Exactly. And I think that
it would be the biggest flop from Warner Brothers since
Suicide Squad.
No, they made a worse flop. Oh, what's the name of that movie? Sure. Jonah Hex totally crashed their budget.
Yeah.
And I like Jonah Hex.
I like the music. The music was written by Mastodon, so I like that. But
That's pretty cool.
that was about it. But yeah, it's a weird choice to go the auteur route for a franchise movie, especially an origin movie about the Joker, which I feel they've kind of tarnished already with Jared Leto's performance in Suicide Squad. There wasn't really anything wrong with his performance. It's just the way they treated the Joker in that movie.
Oh.
Like putting him as like top billing when he was only like 10 minutes of the movie. It's terrible. So yeah, this feels like they're trying to redeem that by bringing in some heavy names from the movie industry. I mean, Martin fucking Scorsese doing a DC movie. What? But yeah, Todd Phillips. He's
as
got
far
this,
back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a criminal.
Oh no! What if they do that in the movie?
Is Leonardo DiCaprio gonna star in this movie or not?
I don't know. I think
somebody wrote the fun comment. Oh look, we can have Robert De Niro as Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, that's the thing though. I'm hoping, because I heard somewhere that this is a standalone movie, that it's not going to be part of the DC franchise.
It's gonna be happening during the 80s.
Yeah, but that is so weird though, because
Scorsese is more focused on the 70s.
Yeah, well, part that. I mean, Ooh, can you imagine a Joker movie taking place in the 70s? Oh, he walk around like a pimp outfit, like dealing drugs and shit. That would be awesome. But yeah, if they're gonna do this as standalone, I would say that's shooting themselves in the foot, because they need some good movies in their DC extended universe.
Yeah, their universe is flawed.
Yeah, their universe has one good movie in it, and that's Wonder Woman. The rest are like, they range from mediocre to absolute,
horse
trash.
shit.
Yeah, complete garbage. So this should be canon, I say. If they're gonna make this, it has to be canon. The problem is though, is that gonna tarnish the good name of Martin Scorsese and Todd Phillips, because they're what do you call it? They're becoming part of this really terrible movie franchise. Because Scorsese has more or less a flawless record so far. He hasn't made I don't think he's made a bad movie. Would you say he's made a bad movie?
He's made mediocre movies.
Exactly.
That geniusly. Exactly.
He's made a couple of, okay movies, but mostly he's just made amazing movies.
Oh yeah.
So him, I mean, sure, he only has a producer. He's only a producer on the Joker, but still, it feels like, I don't know. This better be good. If they're gonna make it, it has to be good, or else they're gonna ruin Scorsese's name.
Oh yeah.
So, and that would be bad, especially this late in his career.
He doesn't need to get tweeted upon him.
No, exactly. However, if we're gonna look at it from like a completely objective standpoint, him producing it, it's gonna be a crime movie. Because the Joker is the Prince of Crime, at least in the original comics. And since they're going for this like punk rock style with Jared Leto and his performance in Suicide Squad, I would say Todd Phillips is a good choice, because he is a very, he makes this mainstream like thrillers and thriller comedies, like in The Hangover, especially Hangover 3, and War Dogs, and he has always had this like kind of like subversive style to his movies, even when they are very mainstream, like the Hangover movies. They do have a sense of style and a sense of purpose. At least the first one and maybe the third one. The second one is kind of So if he gets like free reins to do what he wants, and he get the mentoring by the producer Scorsese, I think he could do a good Joker movie. The question is then.
No, I don't find it impossible.
No, exactly. It could be.
That's what I'm the most hopeful for.
Oh yeah, definitely. I want DC to make good movies. It's just even if
It
this
doesn't
becomes
really happen.
no, exactly, it doesn't really happen. However, if this becomes a good movie, is that going to be enough to save the franchise though? Because after Man of Steel, after Batman vs Superman, after Suicide Squad, and probably, we haven't seen Justice League yet, but it looks kind of shitty.
Oh yeah, I'm not
Um,
looking forward to it.
no, I'm probably gonna go see it though, just out of a morbid fascination. Um, I don't know. They have Wonder Woman, but that's not enough. The franchise as a whole is still terrible. And if they make this Joker movie, is it going to be enough to save the franchise? I don't think so.
Who knows?
No, I don't know. But yeah, if it's going to be a standalone though, yeah, that would be great to have like Leonardo DiCaprio as the Joker. Oh, and yeah, Robert De Niro as the Commissioner. Who else would be in the movie? You could bring back like, I don't know, Harvey Keitel as a mobster or something. I don't know.
Oh, and Joe Pesci.
Oh, Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci
Could be the Penguin. Why you motherfucking motherfucker?
What the fuck, you son of a bitch! Fucking what? Give me my goddamn cigars!
Yeah, motherfucker, you motherfucking you.
Oh, you motherfucker! I'm gonna stab you in the neck with my nose.
And Frank Vincent has to be there somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, and like really making it like a seedy, almost like Taxi Driver style movie. That would be.
Or
That would
it's
be kind
Mean
of cool.
Streets with a Joker.
Yeah. Or he does it like Goodfellas and does it like with a voiceover, and that could be kind of fun because that's also a problem.
If there is a director who is the master of voiceovers, it is Scorsese.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I was gonna say that also. One of the problems I have as kind of a fanboy is that the Joker's never had a definitive origin story, and that's kind of what makes him interesting. That you don't really know where he comes from. You have some, you have the Tim Burton Batman movie where he falls in a vat of acid, and that's kind of become the unofficial origin story. You have, of course, The Killing Joke, written by Alan Moore, which is a pretty good origin story. But there's never been a definitive, this is how the Joker became the Joker origin story. And that's kind of what, that keeps him interesting, keeps him mysterious, keeps him a little, scary. Same thing like they did with Alien Covenant. They kind of ruined the xenomorph monster because now we know it's just an experiment gone wrong. And I think this could be the same thing. If they tell like, oh, the real origin story of the Joker and show him as just an ordinary man and how he became the Joker, it couldn't kind of demystify the character, which I would say is a big problem.
Mm.
That's my main concern. But I mean, they could make it like a fun, like a rise and fall story or something, especially if Scorsese is involved, I suppose.
You motherfucker, you!
Oh, I really want to see Joe Pesci as the Penguin, though. That would be amazing. Yeah, but I don't know. It's a weird one, and I don't know. Scorsese has a lot of stuff in the works. He said he has like 5 or 6 movies in pre-production, and it feels like he's overreaching a bit.
And he has his Netflix, because Netflix bought the rights to the Irishman.
Oh yeah. You see,
yeah. So it's gonna because Paramount, after Silence, Paramount thought that we're not gonna spend money on this guy anymore. He's costing too much.
Yeah,
because Silence didn't bring in nor the money nor the Oscar reputation, and that's that. Because Silence was good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Silence. I can see it definitely had some problems, especially with pacing. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was one of those movies that gets kind of hard to watch, not because it's bad, but because it's like physically hitting you with a lot of its imagery, I think. And I'm not even religious. But yeah, this feels like a project that's gonna maybe run out into the sand and just disappear with time, or end up in development hell. Because he has so many projects going on right now. This doesn't.
Yeah, like his Dean Martin movie.
Yeah, when is that going to happen?
About his Dean Martin movie since the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit like Coppola. He had this futuristic movie that he never made.
Yeah. And this feels like that with this one. It's just something he signed on for. And
Every good director always has a huge pride to make, never did. Kubrick,
yeah,
for
exactly.
example, he never made the Napoleon movie, but it's like two huge, expensive photo books from the production. They never made the movie, but there's two huge from Taschen that they sell, and it's hilarious, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot of those. And this feels like one of those. It's gonna run its course. This is my bet. Scorsese is gonna he's gonna back down. He's gonna leave the producing position, and the movie is gonna be directed by some Hollywood yes man and produced by I don't know, whoever produces the DC movies, and it's just gonna become this generic, terrible Joker origin.
It's gonna get produced by fucking McFucktard.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I predict. But hopefully Scorsese produces the Todd Phillips Joker origin movie. That's what we can hope for, at least. I guess that's
we get to see Joe Pesci act
as the Penguin
again.
Yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see. I don't know. That's about it. I did read, I don't know if you heard this, but I kind of want to save that for the Tuesday stream, because I want to devote some more time to it. But I guess we could at least acknowledge it. I don't know if you've heard yet. I just read about it. Toby Hooper passed away.
What?
Yesterday, I think, or this tonight. Yeah, it's I wasn't sure if I was going to bring it up, but I thought
did not know. Oh, this is new.
Exactly. Yeah, at least acknowledge it, because he is one of my favorite directors. He's made one of my favorite movies.
He made Life Force.
Yeah, exactly. He made Life Force.
I'm gonna watch Life Force.
Yeah, more
1 hour ago it came out.
What you say?
Less than 2 hours ago, the Swedish newspapers.
Yeah,
Toby Hooper is the.
I read about it on the train. More people need to see Life Force. And he made one of the greatest horror movies ever in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I'm actually a big fan of the sequel. For
I love Poltergeist a lot.
Yeah, exactly. He made Poltergeist. His star had been kind of waning in recent years, but he still created some of the greatest horror movies of all time. And I want to devote some more time to him on the Tuesday stream.
Yeah.
So, but we should just acknowledge and moment of silence at least for him.
Yeah.
Once again, we're ending this on a down note, but what can you do? But yeah, rest in peace, Toby Hooper. I don't know.
Put down a drink for my man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna buy me Dr. Pepper and pour it out. I'm gonna smoke a cigar.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's the episode. Sorry if we brought this.
So, what's this Tuesday stream gonna be about?
Oh, it's gonna be about Toby Hooper.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing it about Toby Hooper.
I may jump in if I'm not busy.
Oh, definitely.
Is Christopher gonna be there and Martin?
Yeah, I think.
Martin has to. He loves Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I know Christopher is gonna be in, and I'm pretty sure Martin is gonna be in. And you're welcome. Let's just jump in whenever you can.
Cool.
About 8 o'clock, like we usually do.
See you around then.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
Take care.
See you on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Bye.